Spirit Talk Live with Scott Allan is for entertainment purposes only.
My dear friend, a wonderfully, wonderfully gifted medium. I've seen him in action. It would blow your minds wide open. He's just incredible.
Patrick from London, you are on the air. Welcome to the show.
I mean, this reading has meant more to me than anything. And I'm so grateful.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Spirit Talk Live. My name is Scott Allan, and I am so happy to be with you here on this beautiful and incredibly hot Wednesday evening. I don't know where you all are, but it is scorching. We're near 100 degrees here in Boston. And so if you're getting a little reprieve, good for you. I'm actually happy to see the heat because we had no summer last year whatsoever. I want to say hello also to our friends across the pond through Pulse Talk Radio in the United Kingdom. Hello to England. And you're here with us each week at, 1 o'clock in the morning over on your time. So I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to also welcome my guest tonight. You're going to love her. Last week, we had Michelle Rothberg on the show, and Michelle is part of my mentoring group with Joe Shiel. I think we talked about that. And Carm is as well. And so she's going to be here tonight. Carm does spirit art. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some readings. The phone lines will be opening in a little bit. They're actually open. We'll be taking calls later on in the show. Feel free to jump in the chat. And thank you for all. We'd love to have you join the show and be a part of us. Debbie Adam from Fayetteville, North Carolina, saying hello. Thank you for being here. And also to, let's see, Nancy Rebello. Nice to see you as well. And going to my Mary Alice. Oh, there you go. All right, Nancy. Well, thank you all for being here. I want to tell you about my friend Carm. She's going to come on the show, and I really don't want to waste a whole lot of time talking about it because you're going to get to meet her here in just a moment. So I'm going to bring her out because I think you're going to like her. And Stacia is not with us tonight. She's not feeling well, so she's home. So it's just me doing what I do. And I got kicked off the show just a moment ago before we went live, which sometimes happens with the energy here for whatever reason. So if all of a sudden, Carm's running the show, you know why, and I'll be back. But here she is. I want to welcome to the show Carm O'Sullivan. Hi, Carm. How are you? Nice to see you.
Good. Nice to be here, Scott.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so glad we have this opportunity to chat. And, we were talking a little bit earlier today and also, just this evening before we went live and your spirit art and that you're really coming into that a bit.
It kind of happened. I've been doing mediumship for about 10 plus years now. But about 2.5, 3 years ago, I started I always sketched, but I drew pictures of symbols and signs and words. And with that, what happened was one day I was told to draw the person. And I think, Joe Shiel really inspired me with his spirit art. But I am not an artist. I can draw dead people, but drawing alive is really difficult. So if you're dead, I can do a good job on you. But what's happening is just my hand just kind of gets taken over. It's almost like automatic writing, where you just kind of start moving your hand and then we see what happens. And so spirit then tells me, oh, yeah, my face looks a little different than that. Try the eyes again. And I'll keep working at it. And actually, I'm kind of starting to draw someone. I like to do that.
I love that.
I talk. And so with that, what happens is the picture forms. And, I'm more of I kind of call it a cartoonist. It's not like a perfect portrait, but I'm trying to capture their essence of their person. And it starts with their eyes, and their eyes are so important. So I work on the eyes first, and then I go with the rest of how it kind of formulates out. And so I'm working at trying to make it a little better, but it's really interesting how it all happens. And as I do it, I kind of open up more to spirit and they start talking to me too. So it's just kind of a crazy, I just went with the flow one day. And then so I've been doing it more and more and leaving
I
it
should
good.
take a class. I know Joe teaches it. You're in Joe's
Oh,
class.
yeah.
I should, because I feel like somewhere inside there's the ability to do something. But I always joke that, unless your mother, grandmother, father, whoever's in spirit look like a stick figure, you might not recognize them when they come through, because I don't think I can draw like that on the fly.
Well, it's funny. It really, once you allow spirit, like just like how we allow when we're starting to talk about someone
Sure.
coming through, we'll just, and I call myself vomiting words. I just start talking and it just comes out.
Right. Yes.
If you allow it to happen, and I feel like it's just, it's very organic and it just flows. And then this is one of my best friends, the eraser.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh no,
course.
it's not right yet. He's not right. I had a gentleman, I was talking to you earlier. I had my first time I ever attempted to do it. I drew this man and I made him kind of fat because he felt like he had a fat face, because I do see their face. And he goes, oh, I'm not fat. I'm like, okay. So I erased his lines, made him thinner, and the picture looked just like him, but he was fat. In the real life picture they gave me afterward. And the woman said, she laughed. She goes, he hated his round face. And so spirit, I don't know if they have ego, but maybe they do when they're talking in the human form,
Maybe I don't even know if it's ego as much as they're showing you who they were when they were here,
exactly.
and that would be him. If he said, oh no, I was a little overweight, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
She might say to you, that doesn't sound like him. He never said that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how they come through.
Well, I like to laugh when I find humor in mediumship as much as I find the pathos of it. And I ask them to tell me something fun and funny, so that the person in front of me is not only crying, they're laughing, because it does raise vibrations. So maybe he was just messing with me that day, but she laughed about it. Yeah. And so it's just a fun way of, and it really validates when someone sees you've drawn somebody, you have no idea who they are. They know spirit is there and they listen to the messages more clearly. So it's a work in progress for me.
Do you think now I don't say that I automatic write. I don't think that's something I do, but I always have my notepad here when I'm doing a reading, especially a private reading, one-on-one like this. I'll write. I find that if I look back, I will see things that I've written that sometimes it's a doodle, that looks like, I remember once I drew something that looked like what is it? Like a bass clef for music, the big S almost. I said, oh my God, what was that all about? I said, why is he showing me music? Oh my God, he was a musician. He used to love it. Okay. But it comes out and you don't even realize that it's coming out. At least
if you trust, it's so crazy.
But yet I never feel like I'm not there. Do you know what I mean? I never feel like I'm not present. I'm always present, and I know consciously what I'm writing. But then there's things that come out and you say, well, what made me write that?
It's funny because I think your spirit is helping direct your hand and it's taking a form. So you probably could do spirit art. It's really interesting. Like what I used to do is before the client came in, I would draw a picture of who they were or something. Mm-hmm. And one time I had a woman, and before she came, I drew a picture of a beautiful whale. I was told to draw a picture of a whale. I'm like, okay. And I have all my colors, and I got to go have fun in the art world drawing the whale. Then I was told to write the whale. I'm like, okay, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, the woman sits down and I go, do you understand the whale or a whale? And she's like, oh no, just maybe a porpoise. I'm like, no, it's here for a reason.
It's a whale.
It's a whale. So as I read this, she was missing her son. And as I brought him in, he was kind of hiding in the shadows. And I felt that's what he did in life. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking, going, I'm not sure. I know how he passed. And I explained it to her. Like, he was in the hospital. He didn't want to fight anymore. He was a young man, 32, 34. He didn't want to fight anymore. And he just decided it was his time to go. It was an out for him. And he was okay with it. And it was not about you or the family. Mm-hmm. It was just about him and his being. But he still didn't really tell me how he passed. And I'm like, this is interesting. She said she understood that. And I said, okay. And then finally, he shows me this big tie-dye shirt, huge tie-dye shirt. And I go, did he used to wear tie-dye shirts? Like, was that an affinity for him? She laughed. She goes, yeah, he loved tie-dye shirts. I'm like, okay. And then I see he's not kempt. His being is not clean. And I'm like, well, he had poor hygiene in the end, I would suspect. And she goes, absolutely. And then he shows me, he steps right up to me, and I see him trying to put on the tie-dye shirt that's huge, and he can't fit into it because he's too big. And then I said, oh, was your son morbidly obese? And she cried, and she goes, yes. And I go, okay, the whale's here for a reason.
That's
and
it.
I go, you must watch the movie The Whale.
Just going to say, it's the movie The Whale.
I had just watched it about 2 months before, and I said, everything I haven't told you today, all the rest of your answers will be answered in that movie. It'll be extremely hard to watch emotionally and mentally, but you will understand. And she texted me after that. She went home and watched it, and she texted me afterwards. She goes, thank you so much. I got all the answers now. She goes, I appreciated this. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I think people who don't do this, I think the idea of what mediumship is very different than what mediumship really is. And they will use all of your memories, thoughts, emotions, senses, everything that you can call back on. And you saw that movie, The Whale, and I'm getting goosebumps right now because I just feel like that's how they communicate with me. They let me know they're around. But I'm telling you, that's the kind of thing that happens. You saw that movie and they said, I'm going to show her this because she will be able to understand me like that.
They take those memory banks of yours and just play them, and they connect to that. And I will tell you that when those moments happen, to me, it's one of the most profound types of readings. Those are I call them the A+ers. I'm like, wow, mic drop at the end. How did that happen?
It's truly amazing. I'll tell you an interesting story. It's not about spirit art or anything, but I had a reading recently, and the man came through. He gave me his name, which I shared, and that was accurate. But I kept hearing about a fender bender, and he kept saying, "Tell her about the fender bender." And I said, I don't know what the fender bender is. Well, I had also mentioned something about him having a boat, and she's, oh yeah, he had a boat. He was always out on the boat, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I said, but what's with the fender bender? She says, I don't know. I said, do you know anyone else? I don't know if it was a near miss or, in other words, I feel like he was there with her or something, but I don't feel like anybody was hurt. There was no, everything was okay, but I keep getting the fender bender. Hold on to that, and maybe it'll come to you. That's what I don't know what else to say at that point, right? So we go on with the reading. All of a sudden, I see her go, oh my God. She brings her hands to her mouth. She says, oh my God. I said, what? His boat. It was called the fender bender. And I said, well, there it is. Hello. I'm thinking it means an accident. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
It's so amazing how they can get you to say something.
It's incredible. And people think that you have all the answers or you're reading their mind. No, half the time I have no idea what I'm saying to you or why I'm telling you this. No idea. Because it's not my message.
It's funny is because they can use your songs, your memory banks of your songs, your
everything.
Drawing. I mean, I just draw and I'm like, and it's not always every time I do a reading, I'm not always going to draw a person. It's when I'm called to do it. I try to, and sometimes if I push it, it's not the right person to be drawing for. But it's like, I had one woman come in and she was singing, it was a song by the damn Yankees, Whatever Lola Wants, Lola Gets. And she's singing it. And these two women are sitting there, mom and daughter, and it's her mother, grandmother. And I go, I have to sing this song for you. And I don't know why, but she wants me to sing it. I've been hearing it in my head. And she laughed. They laughed. She always entered her room with that damn song.
My God. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
This work is so magical in so many ways, and it's so sacred. And to me, it's like, it is. And I love how they can connect to us. And when when they really get our energy and we get their energy, that perfect link happens and those magic moments happen.
It is magical. And
It
it's,
is.
it's, you know, and can we talk about that for a minute too? Because, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, you're part of the group. You're part of,
Right.
you know, the Joe Shiel mentorship program with Michelle, who was here last week,
Oh, she's beautiful.
and Chrissy, you'll be here in the fall, and there's different people. But the one thing, and we talked about this today, is there's not an ego in the group. It's just a nice group of people who really want to promote and further the authenticity of this.
Yeah.
And for people who think that this is the devil or this is, you know, I mean, you know, you have to laugh, but there are people that think like
Yeah.
that. And
Oh, I know. Trust me,
oh,
I know.
but there's so much healing that takes place between spirit, the medium, and the person who's sitting there.
Right. It's a beautiful union.
It's a beautiful union. There is something beyond this. And somehow we're able to tune into that frequency to a certain degree. We don't have all the answers. We don't know, you know,
Yeah.
everything. We have to take the journey ourselves. But there's so much healing that there's nothing, no evil entity, no Satan, no devil, no, is going to want to have that much and be involved with that much healing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I always laugh because, you know, I'm a Catholic background. I love Jesus. He's one of my, he's the person I connect to before I do any of the work. And with that, you know, I always tell my friends and my family knows who I am, so they don't worry about me. But people who are like, you know, very dogmatic, they worry about me. And they always say they're going to pray for me. I go, well, I always can use prayers. Prayers are always good. But I never, interesting things, I don't think the devil ever leaves you better off in spirit, in connection to your soul energy. So therefore, the devil is not involved, and he's not of the light. I only work with the light.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And,
you're 100% right.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, the naysayers are the naysayers. And I used to want to defend it. Defend it. I'm like, no, I don't care. If you don't like it or you don't believe in it, that's okay. You know, but one day you might come see me because you're missing someone and you need to know something. And it's all heart. Yeah. It's all about the heart.
It is all about the heart. Isn't that that's your thing? Heart to heart.
Heart to heart meeting.
Heart to heart.
It really is a heart to heart conversation.
It is.
It really is.
It's heart to heart and soul to soul. And that's just what it is. It's just, you know, it's really beautiful. It really is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I really feel the people who come through, especially the ones who have done harm to the family members here, they're here to heal and to say, because it's very interesting. And I had one woman, there's always a story behind some of my mediumship. And there's this one woman who comes to see me, and beautiful Hispanic woman, and she's sitting in front of me, and her little grandmother comes through, and we had this, her grandmother tells me the little town she lived in Mexico and her real name, which she didn't know, but she looked it up later and found out that was right. But then this woman sitting there, all of a sudden this blonde-haired woman comes in and says, I'm her mother. And I'm like, what? And I go, there's a woman here who says she's your mother, who has passed on. She's blonde hair, blue-eyed. And I'm looking at this beautiful Hispanic woman going, do you understand this? I'm out on a limb here. And she's like, I actually do. And I'm like, okay. Wow. So I invited this woman to sit down with us. And this woman was young. So this woman, she had her at a young age. And this woman says to me, the spirit woman says to me, please tell my daughter I had to feel and hear and sense in everything I did to her at age 12. And she kept saying I had to physically feel what I did to her at age 12. She kept repeating the physical. And I'm like, your mother wants to talk about age 12 with you, and she wants to let you know she had to feel what she did to you at age 12, physically especially, because she didn't understand what she had done to you in life. And in death, she said she lived it. She relived it to understand it better. And this woman is now crying, and she goes, she put me in the hospital at age 12 by a beating. Wow. So what does that tell you? This woman had to live in that energy of pain so she could understand what she did to this daughter who was beautiful, and broke my heart in many ways for both spirits. And I said, you must forgive her, not to allow it to, not to forget what she did, but to not to allow it to live in you anymore.
100%. I'd
Yeah.
like to share something with you, but I want to ask your opinion on this. What is your feeling on continuation of the soul in terms of like a past life or a future life of the soul?
Well, I believe in past lives. I believe
Mhm.
that we always have many lives. I believe one of the greatest books I tell my clients to read, and I should be getting some kind of percentage of the sales because I've said so many books, but it's Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters. And I believe our soul spirit, there's a portion of us that are always up there, even though we've reincarnated. There's our higher self is up there, and they know
Yes.
our plot, our plan, our past life, our what we're living, what we're moving toward in this lifetime, what our purpose is. And so we are always able to connect to someone who has passed on, but yet has come back down to relive another lifetime. And I believe we're all in school. This is school. We're in human school, and this is Earth school, and we're all here for a purpose. Some people have to play not great people. I'm not sure how that works yet. I haven't got through that heart layer of that. Like
I know, I
how do
understand.
you, like Hitler, how do you find that person? I look at that, or a murderer. It's probably karmic, they say, and I'm like, wow.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what if you as a soul need to experience somehow you contract to come down here and experience the hate of others or the violence of others because of something you did in a past life? In other words,
Right.
I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. And then you make an agreement with someone on the other side and say, listen, you're going to treat me this way because I need to understand that so that I can be better about who I am. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I don't think anything is a coincidence, really.
I don't either. I mean, there's so many weird things that happen in readings and coincidences in life. And I've had many readings where people have shown me their murders, being murdered, which is not easy to do. I had one in a group of 10 reading one time, start out, and here's mom, and she was brutally murdered by a acquaintance. And I said, this is a mother here. I feel a lot of horrible, and I don't want to feel it. And I kind of explained what happened, and this woman raises her hand. This is my mother. And as I'm telling her a little bit about what happened, not to go into the gory details of it, but all of a sudden I see a baby in the crib, and I know it's her. And then I see a 2-year-old boy pop out behind the corner, and I go, do you have a brother who's 2? He witnessed this horrible thing, and I know she's worried about him because and she goes, I asked her, is he having problems? Yes. He needs to know that the mother is sorry. And I'm wondering, why did that 2-year-old boy have to witness that? And now he's struggling, and he's 38. And I think, why? I'm an air sign. I have to think constantly about things and ponder. I'm a ponderer. But it did bring healing for her, and maybe it will bring healing for the brother. I don't know. I don't stay in contact unless they stay in contact.
Sure.
But she was going to talk to him, and I hope the words that his mother gave me to share with him would help heal the wounds.
I'll tell you something. And again, I don't share names or anything. But I had something very interesting happen in a reading, and it's along the lines of what we're talking about, because I had never had this happen before, ever. And I had a reading from someone, with someone, I should say. I was reading someone else. And the mother in spirit had told me she was not the best mother. Emotionally abusive. There was a lot of things, right? So the relationship wasn't there. The grandson, his soul, the mother is living through the grandson. In other words, like in order to, I'm getting the goosebumps,
Oh my God.
in order to experience the unconditional love between the two of them that they could not experience
In that other lifetime.
in the other life as the mother, but as the grandson, it was 100% possible, doable, and it was amazing.
How did she accept that? And did she look like she had to kind of do a head twinge? Because I would think, huh.
No, I'm going to tell you, she's intuitive herself. So I'm going to say that. Okay, so she gets some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, I don't know if you believe in this stuff, and I'm telling you, I've never had a message like this come through before. So, take it for what it's worth. And she says, I knew what you were going to say before you said it. She says, I just knew it. I just knew it. And I've forgiven my mother. I've forgiven my mother. It's okay. It's okay. And the fact that she wants to have that relationship, and this woman is all about, we talked about healing generational, trauma. I mean, this woman that I read for is all about healing generational trauma and making sure that it stops here and doesn't move on. And, to get that message about this beautiful little grandson who's just 4 or 5, maybe. It's incredible.
Generational trauma, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I have, my story is I had a mother who was a bipolar schizoid, brilliant woman, 170 IQ, spoke 4 languages.
Sure.
But crazy. And as a child, she would do crazy things. I mean, she suffocated me, tried to suffocate me at age 3, fought her off, and luckily she kind of came out of whatever she was in and she stopped. And so I had a lot of trauma from my mother, and I was always a strong person. I always knew I could stand on my own 2 feet, even at a young age. I was okay. I think it's a weird thing to think a kid could think that. Yeah. But I was so angry at my mother. And we never had a great holiday because every holiday she would ruin it. That was kind of par for course. So even weddings, birthdays, waiting for the shoe to drop with my mom, I would pound my feet around the house because I was mad.
Yeah.
And my dad finally said, my dad was a brilliant man, and he was a kind, quiet man. He said, Carm, you need to forgive your mom. And I go, well, first off, why? He goes, your feet are wearing out, first off. He's always a joker. And he said, it's not serving you well. I said, okay, how do I do that then? How do I forgive this woman who's unkind and, has not been a mother to me? He goes, you need to put her in the wheelchair. And I go, what do you mean by that? And he goes, you need to put her in the wheelchair and see her for her disabilities and how she got to who she was as a mother to you. Yeah. Profound words. So through EMDR and through research of her past history of her life, I found out she was an sexually abused child. I found out my grandmother, who I loved, was abusive to her too, and locked her up in closets. And my mother was a very sensitive, empathic soul. She was a Cancer sign. All she wanted was to be loved, but she couldn't be nourished. And she had mental illness, a dis-ease of the mind. And through that work, I was able to forgive her before she left this earth.
Thank God.
And then I got to see her beauty. All the things that she actually did for me that I didn't see because I pushed them back. She's not good. She's horrible. And then I saw the things that there were memories that came back that she was my hero in many ways. So I always think generationally, we have to put all our family members in wheelchairs who have hurt us and find out how they got there.
Yeah, why are they there? Why are they like that? And I think a lot of it is because, well, they can't help it. It's either mental illness or I mean, it is what it is, right? If your mother had cancer, you wouldn't blame her for having cancer. You try to get her the help she needed.
Right.
It's such a stigma with mental illness, and
mental illness is kind of my flag I put up, because to me, my brother is mentally ill because of my my mother being who she was, my brother is a paranoid schizophrenic. And so that's an interesting whole story. But the interesting thing, I think, is if we go back to past lives and how we're choosing our life in this lifetime, they had to choose that role of being a mentally ill person.
Yeah.
So
True.
It's a gift. It's a
And
gift.
again, if you take it back that much
Yeah.
further, you see the bigger picture of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
she needed to experience that because of
Mhm.
how she felt about someone else in another life.
Could be.
You had to experience it so that you could understand for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? But
Well, there's so much out there, Scott. I feel like I just watched this Prime Video has a amazing book called Hidden Valley Road. It was written about a true family
Mhm.
story of 12 kids born starting in the late 40s, early 50s. They had 10 boys, and then they finally had 2 daughters, and they lived in Colorado Springs.
Mhm.
And 6 of the 10 boys were schizophrenic.
Wow.
Think about that. And they're using that research of that family to help solve or cure schizophrenia. Now, the interesting thing too is they're doing studies on, and this goes all the way into the mediumship side. My brother is my twin, so we shared a womb, conceived at different times. We're fraternal, of course, because people always go, "Are you identical?" I go, "Unless I had a sex change or he has, no,
Not likely. No.
not likely." So it was always kind of weird when people ask me that. I look at them like kind of like. So they're looking at in studies at colleges, some high medical colleges, that maybe schizophrenia is part of where they go up to the ethers, just like we go up to the ethers to talk. We have to go up.
Mhm.
Maybe they get stuck up there, and that's why they're hearing the voices.
Right? Who knows?
Isn't that interesting?
It's just such a fascinating thought. Like not anything I ever thought of, but who knows?
Well,
Are you the only one with gifts? I mean, do you know if your brother has any?
Well, I will tell you, it's funny. My brother says the weirdest things, and I'm like, how the hell does he know that? And I'm like, whoa. And my sister and I we have 6 of us in my family, and I'm the youngest. And then I'm the only one who I think who has stepped into the gifts. I think my mother had gifts, and I think my father, he was a charismatic Catholic. He spoke in tongues. He was a stutterer too, a stutterer.
Wow.
And so I think they both had gifts. So my brother, I think, has possibly gifts, but he can't use them because of his mind. Yeah. It's very, I have a lot of fun with him because we laugh a lot because he says the craziest things, and I just go with it. Just go with it, Carm.
That's it. Do you mind if we look at the chat for a minute? Thomas was saying here, he thinks psychic gifts come from trauma or NDE. I've got to say this. I think that people sometimes will recognize their gifts after an NDE, but I can't say that's it for me. For me, I can't say that that's it.
I've never had any trauma per se, or well, I've had 2, not where I was out of body, but 2 near where I could have died, and I was saved by my angels. But I do know people who, because of trauma, their gifts were enhanced or opened up.
Exactly.
And I do think people all come in with a certain amount of gifts of connection. Psychically, we all have intuition. It's just how you build up and how you perceive and receive and understand it.
Exactly. And I've heard that. So Mary is saying here that she was gifted after her NDE. It became stronger.
Wow.
I've heard that. I didn't have any of those. I didn't have the trauma, and I didn't have the NDE. I had a medium. Now, look, I can't prove this, right? I have there's no proof in this at all. As far as I know, I'm the only one that ever had this in my family. Medium told me that I was the only male that had this, that women down the line have had it going back. I will tell you this. My grandmother told a story of her being a little girl in a house back in the 1920s, and It was a cold night. Parents said, sleep in the same room with your brother. We want to conserve the heat and try to warm everybody up, right? They were playing checkers at the foot of the bed, and she saw an apparition at the foot of the. Now, my grandmother was very Catholic, rosary every day. I mean, like
Oh yeah.
extremely, right? Not the one to make up this kind of stuff. She saw the apparition at the foot of the bed, blessing her and her brother. And she said, Gus, look it, look it. He says, you're out of your mind. There's nothing there. She says, he's right there. She said it was Jesus. That's her perception. Perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't. Who knows? But that night, the house burnt down and they got the little kids out of the bedroom just before the floor collapsed. And she lived her entire life sharing, not with everyone, just, just like
Hmm.
close family, like us. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It wasn't something she talked about. She never said she was psychic. She never said she was a medium. She said she had a godmother who was psychic, who was not related, though. It was not a,
Oh.
she knew about her.
Well, it's in your family. See that? I
But
mean,
what
she
is that,
saw.
right? How many people see apparitions? I've never
I
even
don't.
seen
I
an
mean,
apparition. I don't.
now my one daughter has seen apparitions. My other daughter has strange things happen with electronics. And my
Hmm.
son feels spirit. He doesn't want to. He's like, not doing this. This is not my cup of tea. But I do think
Yeah.
families inherit the gifts. And, I think you came into this world to do this work. I really feel that. And maybe you signed up for it, and maybe you signed up for it later in life. But everything that happened to you prior to that was building. It was like that snowball of building for you to
It
get to
was
this
later in
point.
life. It was later in life when I
I was too.
understood it. When I
Hmm.
understood it. But as I look back, I think it was there. There are certain things that I can see and I go, well,
Absolutely.
now that makes sense. And I spent at least 10 or 15 years thinking, what's wrong with me? Something's not right. Something's different. Why am I getting this stuff? Why do I think about people and then I read their obituary in the paper the next day? That would happen to me over and over and over again. Larry is a medium. I met Larry a
Oh,
few weeks ago in Pennsylvania. He had his gift as a child, but my NDE put me in a position where I was able to accept it and
oh.
understand it. So I guess he had one too. And I think that's so true with so many people.
I think we all come in if as a medium, and if people are using their gifts to help others. I do think we sign up for it before we come into this world. I also think we have the timeline of how it's going to work for us. Um, I think also sometimes you need that trigger point, and
Hmm.
it can be a loss. This is really interesting. Is I think sometimes what happens is people experience a very profound loss, then all of a sudden that's when they step into the mediumship. So NDE, profound loss.
Hmm.
I used to feel people touch me as a little girl in my bed at night. I'm
Really.
like, whoa, and I'm like, nope. I
Oh,
think we all have moments in time when our gifts are, I think, switches on. Now you get to find out how to work them.
I
You find
agree.
the
I
instruction
agree.
book has to come in.
Yeah.
you know.
It's true. It's true. And one day we were talking, I think before the show, about hearing voices outside. I used to hear them outside my body. I would hear my name called. My cousin was with me one day and she heard it.
Woo-hoo.
Scott. Like, what? I said, you heard that, right? Yeah, I heard that. It's not like that anymore. I think they need to really get your attention in order to
Yeah.
get your attention. They really work hard at it.
I
And
think
then,
it's very true. I think, there's a tap, either on your shoulder, your ear, your clairaudient,
hmm
something kicks in. For me, I was told all my life, it was I always had a running joke. It was, I'd go see a medium or a psychic. Even my decorator told me, oh, you're a healer. And I'm like, no, it's my friend over here. She's a nurse. No idea. No, that's not me. For years, 5 people told me, and I was like laughing about it, thinking. And if someone told me if at my 35 I'd be doing this now, I'd be like, no.
not a
But it
chance.
does. Yeah, I mean, so I think I love the people sharing their moments of awakening, because we are all here to serve the light. And when we open up, our spirits above us want to talk to us. And if you trust in what you get, I always talk to my father, if I send somebody around me, I'm like, who is it? What's going on? I can usually tell who it is. I even had a moment, this is a funny one. My brother-in-law, who really, I don't know if he believes in this or not, but beautiful soul. He's a biophysicist, so he's in the left side brain. We're both working on fixing my garbage disposal, and he's visiting with my sister-in-law, and they're both like, we can't get it fixed. And I said, hey, Bill, let's just go to bed tonight. Tomorrow we'll worry about the garbage disposal. In the middle of the night, I have my dream. My dad comes toward me. My dad's always the fixer. He always showed me how to work things, fix things. We always did things together like that. And he told me, Carmy, just unplug it, plug it back in. It'll work for a week. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I kind of go back dreaming, and I forget about it. My brother-in-law gets up, and we're just kind of talking for a moment. Then all of a sudden he goes, I had a dream. And he's walking toward the garbage disposal. And I'm like, oh, I had a dream. We both had the same dream, but he said, I got to unplug it and plug it back in.
Oh my God. It's I mean, come on. Really, it's
Can't explain
unbelievable.
those things.
You can't explain those things. I want to give people a chance to chat in the chat, or if you want to give us a call, the lines are open. Right at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a 775-264-SPIRIT or 775-264-7747. Feel free to give us a call. Feel free to hop in the chat if you have a question, if you want to.
I actually have a spirit here I've drawn. I've been so when I'm looking down, I'm drawing.
I knew you were. I knew you were, but I didn't want to say anything. So
yeah, I do have somebody. I don't know. We'll see who this is, and I hope it belongs to somebody here. But it's to me, it's a younger man. I would say probably his 20s, 30s is what I'm getting here. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he has short, tight hair is what I want to do. He's very serious. His structure of his face is very defined. His jawline, his cheeks are very defined, almost like I want to, and I'm not good at shadowing yet. So, yep. But I feel that this young man passed away swiftly. I feel like he went quickly. I feel he was loved to go fast, and he was very serious too. I feel like he had a funny sense of humor, but maybe dark-sided humor, I also feel darker. I'm not sure if he has blonde or dark hair. So hold on. I almost want to say it feels like he has a normal name, like a Mike, an M name, possibly Mike or Mitch. I'm not sure. Names are not always my best forte, so don't get stuck on the name. But if it gets stuck on the description, I feel like he, it almost feels like a car accident or something in a car or motorcycle. I'm not sure. I feel he had very, I almost feel like military values around him. So I don't know if he's in the military, but I feel that also. Do you have anybody understanding that? So
if there's anybody in the chat that understands that, if you want to just type in, and the thing is, oh, there you go.
If I show the pictures sometimes it
there you are. Yeah.
Okay. Now don't get stuck on the picture too, if I can get this right.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. I feel like his nose was broken, by the way, too.
The funny thing is I feel like in this chat, in general, there could have been somebody in the chat at the beginning that dropped out. You know what I mean? So, right. This is here. If anybody watches it or anybody knows, please reach out. I'll tell you what I'm picking up too. And this is really random. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but it may have something to do with him. I don't know what it is. I keep getting this peppermint. I keep getting peppermint, the word peppermint. So I don't know what that means.
Let's put that down.
I don't know if that's a color, if it's a scent, if it's like what he used to always have a peppermint,
maybe
or was I don't know.
Peppermints. Maybe he was always about his breath. Because sometimes when I see peppermints, they're worried about their breath, or they had bad teeth, or they had maybe that.
Right. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know.
He's an interesting soul. I know he's here. I know heavy eyebrows. I want to draw his eyebrows a little heavier. I almost feel like brother from another mother, possibly relation. And I feel impact on my chest. So that's what I'm feeling right now.
Do you feel him being more, because I feel like I'm tuning into someone too, but I don't know if I'm tuning into the same one. So do you feel him being kind of, I don't want to say a loner. That's not the right word,
Yes.
but not
I
tons of
feel
people around him.
To me, he's like, when I say the military attitude, he has a lot of protection around him.
Yes.
And I also feel like maybe he's military, maybe he's not, but I feel like he's very handy with his hands too. I don't think he does it like he could fix things. I feel much his hands working on like repairing bikes or motorcycles.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was his job. That was what he loved to do. It's like more of a passion.
He feels very okay with himself. When I say okay with himself, like being by himself, he feels okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to have a lot of people around him. He's
Mm.
very happy with himself.
And outdoorsy fishing. I feel like I'm outside. I feel like I've got I feel like I'm okay with that. If this
he
is
might even be a cigarette smoker too, because I feel like I just drew something in his pocket, and that usually means cigarettes to me.
Yeah,
But I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't see anybody claiming him. That's not surprising. The thing with this, the whole chat thing in the readings is, if somebody comes through like that and then they leave the chat, you don't always get it. That's why, if anybody would like a reading and you want to chat with us, please come and mention in the chat. Also, feel free to give us a call. And again, the number's at the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And
all I like is a name, and I go from that usually.
And that's it. And that's it.
In this kind of menu or way we work in the media.
Exactly. Yeah, because you don't have a lot of time to. Right. Exactly.
To sit there and ponder.
Victoria just said, "Hey, Carm, you've been invaluable to me with my loss, and I really want to explore my innate connections." So
you have big gifts, Vicki. Big gifts. Next class is October 19th and 20th. Come take that class.
What are you teaching?
I teach, the first class I teach is intuitive training. This one is in Colorado Springs. I love teaching about energy. I believe everything we do is really energy, and everything we are is energy. And down to things we're holding, we'll hold the energy of a person. So I teach intuition training. It's in Colorado Springs. I have people flying in this time from different parts of the country. I had people flying in last time. And it's really a fun class to teach, and I've been doing it for years. I taught one in Newport Beach last year. I'll probably teach another one this year. I'm 25. Taught one in Phoenix with a friend of mine, Michelle Masheri, who's a beautiful medium as well. We taught together. I always say 2 mediums make a large. So, get a little humor.
I make a large all by myself. It's not pleasant. I got to tell you. That's kind of how it is.
It's interesting because I really feel the people in I love leaning into teaching. I have a teaching degree to begin with. I don't even know why I did the teaching degree, but I ended up doing something totally different in life. Wow. But I now use that teaching degree in ways of putting my syllabus together, putting in my teaching methods and what I'm working on. So, and then I teach mediumship, and so we're seeing where we're going. I do at least 3 to 4 to 5 classes a year in Colorado. I do about 2 to 3 in Colorado Springs, and then I do where people are ask me to come. And so I've been asked to go to Phoenix and then Newport Beach. I've done twice now. It's always been amazing people. So lucky me. I feel every time I take a class, I'm like, or teach a class, I feel like, wow, because I feel I'm taught as much as my students I teach.
I think it's great. It's great. I love that. And, and that's what I love is, I get to be around people who are doing things to advance this. I think it's just beautiful and spread it. I think that's where we are. I want to reach out. Here's a post here from Danica. Can I get a reading? What do you need? What do you need? Do you say just a name? Is that what you're thinking, Carm? You asked for the name?
Yeah, I just give me a first name. That's all I want.
Danica, if you can come back in the chat, or if you want to call on the line, you can. Just need a first name. That's all. If you're still here, feel free, and we will do that. Mary wants to know if you teach classes online.
That's funny you asked that. I will be. and I'm working to putting a kind of a group, a teaching way of teaching. So being in person is such a beautiful thing, but not everybody can fly places or be in the same city. So I will be putting an online course. Probably I'm going to be working with a couple other people doing this. And yes, and I will have one by 25, and I'm thinking it'll be January of 25. We'll start.
Excellent.
And I'm thinking it's going to be a 12, once a month, or maybe a 6-month course twice a month. I'm not sure yet, but it's right now being formulated. I had a meeting
That's
today
awesome.
about it. See, Mary Al, she read my mind.
Yeah. Mary is she's got gifts. She doesn't she's I don't know, I've talked to this about her. I know Mary. She is a little afraid of it, for whatever reason, but she has some abilities and some gifts, and we've talked, she and I we've talked on a personal level about that before.
Yeah.
But I think I keep trying to suggest that maybe she take a few classes and learn to trust and be around other people.
Well, like I have a circle group. So when people take my classes, they join the circle, and we do an evening circle at 5 to 7 Mountain Standard Time, which is 2 hours difference in East Coast.
Yep.
And so with that, a lot of people join the circle, and there's mediums there and psychics. I always do one. I teach twice a month on that. And it's kind of teaching, but yet it's really a tribe that all are like-minded. And these women are, and men too. I have men now. I'm getting more men wanting to learn mediumship and psychic ability. I'm like, yay. And what I do with the circle group is we talk about spirit or talk about a subject, and then we do an exercise, just like you're in class.
Sure.
And the circle is also there to support. Our in-person spirit is amazing because we're all supportive of each other, and it's all walks of life, all faiths, all non-faiths, all ages. It's just beautiful. And so to me, it's just connection. And I think it's our biggest thing right now, Scott, is if we can connect to our own soul and trust our soul and see our gifts. Mary Alice, you have big gifts. And you have a soft heart, I feel too. I can feel your energy. I feel the more you can step into your purpose, and maybe it's not to do mediumship or psychic, but it's to tune in better. So when you're sitting with a friend or a family member who's suffering, you can bring in that spirit, and that spirit can be just a message and you don't have to say, Spirit's telling me. You can say, I really feel that you're suffering because of this and this. Let me tell you, I feel this is how you can help resolve it. And it's just a nice note. And like I tell my clients and my students, I go, intuition, we all come in with it. Some draw, like we said, stick figures. We're artists. Everybody can draw.
Right.
It's just the level of drawing. And you can learn how to draw. If I can. And Scott, you're really good. I saw your pictures.
If I have a few days to kind of work on it. I don't do 60-hour readings, so that's not usually how it works.
Eyebrows. But I really.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just feel like we all have intuition. So the more you can step into that gift, the more you can be in tune to yourself. And I have a story. I mean, I do listen to my intuition. I've had moments in time where I've been told, Carm, check your eyes. Check your eyes. And I found out I had glaucoma. If I had not gone in to get my eyes checked, I heard it 3 times. So 3 times is a charm in my book. I went in and found I had pretense for glaucoma, and I got it fixed, so I don't have to worry about losing my sight now. I had a time where I went up. My son was very sick. And if you go up, when you ask your guides, your angels, or Jesus, you have to be okay to what you're going to hear. So when you go up, you must be open to whatever. I asked them, I go, is he going to be okay? Because it was serious. And they said it's going to be a bumpy ride, but he'll be okay in the end. And on the 11th day of his hospital stay, he had sepsis, burst appendix, necrotic tissue, and they were going to put him in ICU, and I did healing touch, and he was then put into med surg. He finally, stabilized. And 11 days went by. The doctor comes in that 11th day, and he says to him, and I was there, he goes, Jay, you've had a bumpy ride, but we're going to release you today. The exact words.
Wow.
Trust what you get. Ask, and ask them to show you signs along the way.
Trust. I want to just reach out here because Danica came back in. She said
Okay.
the name is
Perry.
Perry. Perry. Are you drawing or are you just kind of writing things?
I'm just kind of taking my mind out of the world here.
Yep.
And going into up. You know, Danica, I feel like I'm feeling more male than female. I hope I'm right on that, because I know I have friends who are Perry on both sides, male, female, but I'm feeling more male. I feel the name, his name, is it male? Because I want to make sure can you understand that first off? It's a male, Danica? I just want to know if I'm in the right direction.
I was feeling that too, but we'll see what she says. I was feeling male with that as well.
I feel
she said
male.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel I have two friends who are Perry. I feel his name is he has his eyes. I feel like his eyes are he has like they kind of slant down a little bit. They're cute. They're soft eyes. I feel I want to say like a father image with this person coming through. Do you understand? I feel also what I want to talk about is he has these soft, wise eyes. I feel a softness about him. I feel words of wisdom around him. I feel.
She says yes, Father.
Thank you. He shows me his hands, and so when I look at his hands, I feel it's weird. They don't feel large. They feel like they're not huge hands, but I feel like when I see him, I feel like he hands me my pencil. He hands me a pencil. So I feel like he used a pencil when he worked, which can be a lot of different things. I feel
Can I say something too while you're tuning in?
Yes, tune in.
Because I don't know if we're picking up on the same person, but I all of a sudden am feeling this intense nausea. And I don't know if that's connected with him and his illness or treatment or whatever, Danica, if you can share that, but or if that relates to someone else connected with you. But I feel intense nausea related to potentially his illness and or passing. So I don't know, but I'm feeling that in a very strong way.
I feel he's very strong in his being too. I feel like part of him when he got. Does she accept that? Because I feel like
I haven't seen her yet.
What I feel that what made him leave this earth, it made him feel very vulnerable in some ways, like he couldn't do what he. It's a very strong figure in my mind, so it was very hard for him, kind of like a John Wayne type, you know.
I feel very around him too, almost, and you say it took him down. I almost feel like I'm susceptible to other things. I don't know if it's an immune thing or his immunity was compromised or something, but I feel very open to other things.
He's saying I keep getting 3-4, and I don't.
She said he was a triathlete.
I'm getting 3-4. I'm getting this 3-4 number around him.
She also said it was an accident. Danica, I'm a little confused because I don't feel him that old, but I was definitely feeling nausea around him, and I can't understand where that's coming from. Is that?
I'm just kind of drawing. I feel him thinner. That face is not the face, this side of the face.
She said he thought he was indestructible.
Yes, I feel that. And what happened to him was made him vulnerable. So I don't know if he lived through the accident.
Danica, are we looking at because I still can't, I'm feeling it right in here, but I feel almost like nauseous. Do you know if it was chest trauma? Do you know if that's ultimately what this was, because I feel really like I'm dealing with something in my, it feels like nausea to me, but I might be misinterpreting the sign, but it's definitely going on up in here.
I feel more, could be heart attack too, because nausea and heart attack come together. But I
Yeah, I
feel
don't
what
know.
took him down made him vulnerable, and I don't know why I keep saying that. And I feel I want to bring him to his health, to himself now. He was very proud of you, and I feel him. Hold on. I feel like him
Head
leaving, coming
trauma.
back. Head trauma. I feel him leaving, coming back, coming in, like in the house, out of the house, in the house, out of the house. I feel like he was always doing things. I feel he was a plotter. He liked to plot in the sense of, if he was going to take a run, he had it mapped out. I feel maps around him. Like he was always kind of thinking about trips, or maybe he was a pilot. I don't know. But I feel his running got him into his. I always think about runners. Are they running from something or running towards something? And I feel like he was running towards something, like it was his way of running toward his higher self, or his way to escape the stress. But he's not running away. He's running towards what he's telling me. I keep getting 3, 4. So is the 3, 4 is significant? Is it 3 to 4 kids? 3 died on the 3rd, the 4th. 3 to 4. March. I don't know what that is, but 30. It could be 34 also. But I'm getting that number coming in strong, so I'm going to put that here. I also feel he was a plotter. I just feel he's sitting there in his head going, let me look at this. I am going to take this, and always trying to find a new place to run and challenges. I also feel around him, I feel there's a dog around him too. I feel there's a love of a dog, and I see, and to me, it's this dog is with him. So I don't know if it was a childhood dog, but I feel it's a dog that he would take on runs. And I'm not sure what kind of dog.
She says we may be picking up on someone else too, and I don't know if that's the one I was picking up with the nausea. Danica, you said something about Irene, picking up on someone for Irene. I don't know what pieces of that you might
Is
understand.
Irene with them?
Probably. I know who they are. Yeah. Hello, Ashley. How are you? Yeah. Usually they're not far from each other, so I'm sure that may be, she may be able to give some clarity on that as well. I think you're picking up someone for Irene. Yeah.
Let me ask the one for Irene to sit on the bench, and let's make sure Perry is. He doesn't feel like he's huge build. He feels like a smaller build, but I feel like he had a huge presence. I also feel woods around him. I feel running in the woods. I feel that was one of his places. And running up. He liked to run up hills, is what I'm getting. That was his challenge. And
I want to hold off on just 1 second, Cam, because I want to just read this to you. Danica says there's another person named Mike who had chest trauma with likely nausea, and the photo somewhat looks like him.
which
Perry
one?
had a smaller. So the picture you drew kind of looks like Mike, I think. Is that right? But Perry had a smaller build, but a large presence. So I think we may have two people kind of popping in,
So Mike and Perry.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I've been blending lately, and I'm not sure. I was talking to Joe about it. And I don't know.
Ashley says you look awesome in blue, by the way.
Oh,
She looks awesome in any color, I have to say.
I don't know about no, there's certain colors. As women, we know the colors we're wearing. It's funny. I feel like
Yeah, like
I
she
want to
says, it
bring
looks
in
like
the
Mike.
message. Like Mike. Okay.
She said the
So
picture.
let me bring in Perry for a second, because I still feel him in my. Are you the third child, or is there 3 children? Is why I'm getting this 3 thing going on, Danica?
Do you understand the 3-4 thing, Danica?
Or is
This
that
is
with
why
Mike
it's so
too?
hard for the chat. You know what I mean?
This is a hard thing because when I do it in person, if I do it on live, they can talk to us.
You can talk.
But
That's why I'm going to ask anybody that wants a reading like this, if you would call in on the line. It's a little bit easier to make a phone call and we can get the
then we
feedback
can hear the
without having
voice.
to type back and forth. That's the other thing too, is when I do readings, there's somebody in the chat that asked me if I do a reading. The problem is I'm watching the chat, I'm watching the phone line, I'm corresponding with you, and it's so hard to jump back and forth from spirit to chat to spirit.
Well, it's funny when you say Mike, I had what I was talking about, the man above me. Only child, but born in the mire. Okay, thank you. I feel the 4 comes in too. I don't know. I think you'll think of that later, but the 3, it's to recognize you. He wants to let you know first off. I feel
okay.
he left
I want you to hang on 1 minute. We're getting a call from Danica, and
Okay.
you can go ahead and chat. She's going to come in just a moment. I'm going to talk to her in just a second here. I think this is her anyway. Let's put it that way. She said she was calling.
This is, I want to tell her too about her dad. I'm getting, this is funny. I don't know if he ran for competition, but I'm seeing Dave Waddle. And as a runner, he would know who Dave Waddle is. So he's using that. And I think he had a hat like Dave Waddle when he ran. I feel the hat coming in strongly. I don't know if he had a funny run, how he ran, but he's just showing me his who he is. And what I'm feeling is the message for this beautiful soul, Danica. He said he's sorry. He felt like he did not spend enough time with you specifically.
Hold on one second.
Time.
I'm going to bring Danica on the line. She's right here.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Danica. You just maybe I got to play myself up the ceiling. Give me 1 minute. I come back down. There you go. Hi, Danica. How are you? Hello.
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Can you hear us okay?
Thanks. Yes.
All right.
Can Danica hear me?
You can hear Carm, right?
Danica?
I can hear her.
Okay, good. Okay.
Danica, I feel like he's showing me a famous runner named Dave Waddle. I don't know if you know him, but I feel like Dave Waddle had a unique running pattern. I feel this goes with your father, Perry. And I also feel that he must run with a hat because I feel a hat on his head. Dave Waddle was known for the hat. And so when I see that, I feel there's some reasoning he's showing me that. So it's a connection. But what I really want to say for you is what Perry's telling me is he wished he had more time with you on this earth. I feel he kind of came in and out. I don't know if it was in your life or out of the house, in the house. I feel he was very busy. He wants you to know he admires your tenacity. Do you understand that? He's talking about tenacity, the word tenacity. He admires your tenacity.
Tenacity?
Yes, tenacity is a word he just used. That just came in, and that's a big word.
Okay.
And that means that he wants you right now, for you at this time, is to keep moving forward in that way you're doing with what's going on in your life and not allowing life to stop you from moving forward. And I feel like when he ran with a type of tenacity, because when you run, you have to keep pushing forward when it hurts. And I feel that's the message for you in this time. And he
okay.
I just feel him looking at you and loving you as a child. I feel like age 4 is an important age. Maybe that's where the 4 comes from. Hello.
Is this your dad, Danica?
Yeah, maybe.
I feel him looking
my dad actually born in March, and I was born in March as well. The 4 doesn't make sense. The 3 makes sense. Maybe it'll come to me later. I'm not quite sure.
The 4 to me feels like an age time for you, and age 4. And I feel him looking at you at age 4, and maybe there's a picture of you and him together. And I feel you standing up with him or standing on, like him picking you up shoulder to shoulder, holding you. But I feel age 4. There's an age 4.
On shoulders.
On his shoulders?
Mm-hmm.
I think I was on shoulders, yeah.
I feel he's showing me that picture
Because
of how
I do have a...
he loved you. They show me a lot of pictures. To me, it's like your shoulder, you're up here and he's smiling and you're smiling. And you feel like this big, beautiful connection of the two of you. And he wants to let you know that's how he feels still.
I don't know.
That's wonderful.
What I'm
Thank
picking
you.
up with him too, Danica, I just want to say this. It could be just the time error too, because I felt like the way I'm seeing him in my head is probably not how, again, I think I see them how I need to understand them. And we've talked about this, but I don't know how old your dad would be now. But there's one thing he keeps showing me, and it looks like a very narrow tie. Remember, like, when did they wear those narrow ties? Was that 60s or was that 80s? I don't even know. But I'm seeing like a very, can you
It was in the 80s.
It was in the 80s. Is that what you said?
I think it was in the 80s. And yeah, he did wear, he worked in an office. So yeah, he did have a ton of ties, and some of them were like those pencil ties.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I keep seeing. And she's holding the pencil there.
Remember what I said? The pencil, he keeps showing me a pencil.
Yeah.
Did he work with a pencil and numbers?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. He was like kind of like a CEO type for a family business. So he worked in the office. He worked with a pencil. Yep.
Pencil, and he's always using the pencil to plot his map. And I feel highlighters plotting his maps out.
But one thing you said about when you were talking about his hands, though, like when he had his accident, he was actually doing a triathlon. He had a bicycle accident. He went headfirst into a guardrail, but he tried to stop himself with his hands. And his hands, I remember, at the wake, his hands were unrecognizable as hands. Oh. They were very disformed.
Well, I kept seeing hands, but I couldn't figure out why he's showing me hands, and I couldn't see. I'm like, why is he showing me the hands? And I couldn't see if they were soft. Yeah. It's weird how they lead you into how to say something. I just feel the great love for you, and he wants you to live your life with fullness. Like I feel like he did. He loved the air on his face. I feel mountain running. I feel the ocean. I feel like it was always plotting a new trip or a new place. And that made him feel truly alive. And it was always about the next challenge.
Do you understand the peppermint around him? Why do I still am getting peppermint? And I don't know if that's connected to somebody else, but do you understand? I
don't understand peppermint. His father used to chew like spearmint gum all the time, but I don't, that would be my grandfather, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or maybe you're picking up on somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was getting it right from the moment you hopped on. I was getting peppermint. I was seeing it and feeling it, like candy cane peppermint. I kept seeing red and white stripes, like candy cane, but smelling it.
No, I don't think that's for me, Scott.
That's okay.
It might show up later too.
Yeah.
But he,
okay.
He's good. He wants to know that, what happened to him, and maybe that's why I kept feeling vulnerable. Like him flying could be the vulnerability, but I feel flying, to be honest. Actually, I feel him skidding and holding, like him. Yeah, he says, I'd rather talk about the better things in life. He wants you to live in the beauty of your life. That's, I think, one thing he wants to imbibe in you. I feel like he was very serious in life, and he wants you to have more fun than he did, but he had fun with those triathlons, and I feel that picture of you and him on your shoulders is an important picture. Like shoulder to shoulder.
Yes, he was very serious. he liked to have control over a lot of
Everything else.
things, and yes.
He's sorry he left early, by the way, but he's sorry he left early, but he wouldn't have had it any other way.
Well, I know he's around, so yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Danica. Good chatting with you.
Have a beautiful day.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye. So yeah, it's just easier when you can talk to the person and get, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes even the voice is a help. We have a woman calling into the show, and she's with the screener right now. I just want to say, she'd asked for a reading. I asked her to call in, and I kept getting peppermints, and she says, well, she ate peppermints today. I don't know if that's enough, but I want to explore that with her.
You never know, because I had one where I had pickles, and she had just eaten a pickle before she had gotten on the call.
Let me see. Oh my God, she's in Colorado Springs. Let's see. I'm gonna say hello. Vicky, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks so much.
You're welcome. How are you? Do you know Carm?
Hi, Carm.
You do know Carm.
I do know.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go. What do you understand about peppermints? It seems like I don't know if I can take that, from you. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that's the thing, but I've been getting peppermint ever since Danica got on the call.
Well, I don't know. I just definitely ate peppermints a lot today. And when I saw the link to the show, I had just left a restaurant and had a peppermint in my pocket. So I don't know. It could be that. Could be something different.
Scott, I think you need to come into this one.
All right, let's see. I don't know. Who were you looking to connect with, Vicky?
Yeah, well, I'm always looking to connect with my sister Jessica, but I did also lose a friend semi-recently, Ron.
What was her name? I'm sorry. The second one?
Jessica.
No. Oh, I thought you said there was someone. Oh, okay. All right.
What's the other one? What's the other one, Vicky? The other person?
Ron.
Oh, Ron. R-O-N. Okay,
Ron.
Gotcha. And that's a male, right, Ron?
Correct.
Yeah, not like, I know there are some Ronnies, which are okay. Let me see what I can pick up on here. All right, I need to talk about the person, and again, I hope this is one of the ones you want to talk to, because all right, hold the phone. I don't know if I'm looking at illness or I'm looking at something else, but I feel like I'm seeing like needles. Like, I don't know if this is drug abuse or if this is like diabetes or something. Can you understand with either of them?
Are you talking about? Yes. Probably both of them were ill, and definitely the drug abuse or alcohol abuse in my sister.
Okay.
I'm going to work on Ron, by the way, while you're working on.
Okay, you're going to work on. Okay, that's fine. So that probably makes sense for your sister. Okay, and I will say this: sometimes when they show me needles, it sometimes means diabetes. It doesn't always mean like they were using needles either. It's how they show me that there was sort of a drug thing going on, right? So it could have been
Well,
anything.
She has history of that too.
She does. Okay, all right. Let me just see if I can tune in a little bit here. What is the music thing around here? And I don't mean like we listen to music. Do you understand music being significant? Not just like I listen to the radio. Do you understand that with her?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Because I just want to make sure this is her. Okay. And okay. And this is funny too. She's showing me, this is kind of random. She's showing me socks. Is there some kind of weird thing with socks? Did she have like why is she showing me socks? Like socks with designs on them, socks with like, I know that's out there, but just, I don't know if you can make sense of that at
she
all.
She always mismaster socks, but I don't know.
Maybe. All right. This doesn't feel like that. It feels like there's something with the socks that are like, they're not just normal socks. They're not like just black socks or white. I feel like there's something on them. Maybe she's trying to show me that she mixed. Okay. Hold on. Just go a little deeper here. All right. I don't know who this is too. She's talking about a younger child. I think they might be talking about a boy, but I'm not sure. But I'm feeling like this is somebody that she should have spent more time with and been more connected to. Do you understand who this young male is?
She did not have any living boys.
She did not have any living boys. Do you understand that with Ron by any chance? Would there be a male would there be a younger child with Ron?
He had a grandson.
Do you understand him not having the relationship with him that maybe he would have wanted to for
They did
whatever
not
reason?
live close.
Okay. All right. That's it. I was thinking it might have had something to do with a drug issue, but it wasn't. It's more of a distance issue because I'm feeling like I wished I had been closer. I wish we could have had the relationship that I would have liked to have had.
That makes sense for him.
And I'm wondering if I'm picking up on the two of them at the same time. What do you get? Did you get anything on Ron?
I'm on Ron. I unfortunately I know Jess, so I've read.
Yeah, I know it's
so
hard. It's hard, right?
So I don't want to. I want you to kind of bring Jess in.
I want you to hold on 1 minute.
I don't know.
Hold on. You keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. I feel like with Ron, I feel Vicky. I feel a very sad, long time death. I feel also he's sending me fish to hand to you. What is this fish thing?
I'm having trouble hearing you, Carm.
I feel like he's handing me fish to hand to you. Fish. So I don't know if he was something about fishing. Yeah. But fishing, like a joke. It's a joke in my mind, like fishing joke.
Well, he knows that I love to fish.
Yeah, but I feel like fishing, I feel heart and lung around him. I feel it was, I feel like whatever took him down, the heart and the lungs were compromised in the end, and that's what took him. I also feel it's kind of a good old, I feel like he's a good old boy in a weird way. Like I would love to talk to him. He was one of those guys that you could sit down on a chair and he would tell you his life. And I feel that he had, he'd like to be the keeper of the stories, or the gatekeeper of the stories. And I don't know what that means. Do you understand any of this?
I do, yeah. So he was part of my charity, and he was a longtime member, and he had lots of stories. He did die of cardiopulmonary disease, cardiac disease in particular. But he was a Sertoman and definitely had lots of stories, and he kept everything. I actually took part of his Sertoman charities items, and he had all sorts of things in there. He has two daughters, and definitely telling the stories when he was in the hospital, was something that we did when he was alive and after he was gone as well.
He loves stories. He loves the stories. He's like handing you the stories. But really what I think the fishing thing is to honor you and to say how much he saw your energy. And he kind of teases you a little bit. Like he kind of treated you like
what?
He's teasing you a little bit. But I feel like he teases you like
Well, he teased me a lot in life.
You're like my brother, he's saying as a joke. I don't know why, but he loves you. He loves you. I just feel like he always got a smile when he saw you walk in the room. And he knew your heart very well. And he just wants to let you know that he's up there as one of your biggest cheerleaders now. And it didn't hurt. I don't know why I had to say that. He goes, it didn't hurt, Carm. So whatever his life
didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt. I don't know if it was very traumatic, his leaving.
Good.
He wants to let the girls know it didn't hurt. He wasn't in that body.
Good. So he actually had to have massive heart surgery, and he woke up for a short amount of time. His last words to me were, "Shut up, Vicky," and because I was yelling at him to extubate him, and then he didn't recover. He had to be re-intubated and never recovered.
He wants to let you know it didn't hurt. The ending of his life did not hurt. He was never back in his body. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to talk about your sister
Thank
too.
you. I'll let his daughters know.
I just want to talk about this real quickly. I feel like I'm getting from her too. Thank you for honoring me. And it's funny because you are her sister, but I feel like it's almost, I don't want to say it's a surprise for her, but it feels like I feel like I'm not worthy kind of thing is what this feels like. I'm not worthy. Okay, first of all, her ashes are home with you, or somebody's got her ashes at home.
So, yes, her daughter has them.
Her daughter has them. Okay. Making me feel like we're not sure what we're supposed to do, so we're not doing anything. That's what it feels like to me. Like, dude, she's just there.
That's correct.
You understand that, right? Because she doesn't care. Number one, she doesn't care. I feel like there's been a talk of jewelry, a talk of some kind of like miniature keepsake or something like that. Okay. All she's saying to you is, again, she doesn't care. Do what you want to do. Just don't. I don't know why. It almost feels like she's joking. Don't lose me twice is what it feels like. So be careful when you go out. Don't lose me twice is what it feels like to me. And I'm also getting with her. Oh God. Who's got the tattoo? She's talking about a tattoo. She's talking about
all of her daughters, but
all of her
daughters. Youngest daughter just got one after her death. Yeah.
Okay, her daughter just got one. Okay, that's it. She just wants to let you know she's around and she's okay. But she feels so like I don't deserve the honor, even though she does deserve the honor. But do you know what I mean? I feel like she's just saying, listen, thank you. You. I don't deserve the way you still feel about me but she does. Do you know what I mean? She loves you back in such a huge way and knows exactly how she impacted everyone in both a positive and negative way. But I feel like she's doing her work now. She's coming through to say, I love you all. I love you all. Who, okay, wait a minute. Hang on. I don't know who, there's something about a name connected to her too. What is it with her name? Who's got a name similar to hers or connected to her in some way? I don't know if it's like a middle name or something.
Well, so I have a stepson whose name is Jess.
Okay.
Jesse. She likes to go by Jesse, not Jessica.
Okay, that's it.
I don't know about the middle name.
Well, it could be that. I say it's like, it doesn't feel like a junior is what I meant to say. Do you know what I mean? It's like a piece of the name. It could be the middle name is a first name or the first name's a middle name, something like that. But it's not like we have the same name exactly spelled out. It's like part of it or something. Yes, thank you. That's it. And okay. Who's got, okay, one more thing. I feel like I'm getting, I see the calendar's turning. There's something coming up. There's a date coming up. I don't know if it's a birthday or something coming up soon. Do you understand that? Either just happened or coming up. Birthday, death day, anniversary.
Yes.
You understand that? Okay.
All of our birthdays are coming up and we're having a big party next week.
Next week. Oh God. Yeah. Usually I'm going to say, usually it's like within a week or two. So perfect. All right. She wants you to know she's okay. And she's saying thank you. And she's so good. She's so good. She's also telling me, you know, not that this makes it okay, but she's not the only one. I feel like she has other people around her that had similar situations, past young, similar type stuff with similar issues. Yeah. Are you familiar with that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And who's got her car? There's something about a car too. I don't know. Do you have a son that has her car or something?
Her daughter has her car.
Her daughter has her car. Okay. Because I feel like they still have my car. They're still driving my car. Okay. That's it. Maybe it was you.
She loved her car. It was my car and I gave it to her.
That's why she said, okay, that's why I'm feeling it connected to you too, because it was your car. I do feel like maybe it was you in the peppermint. She was just trying to get your attention. You know what I mean? Just say it so that you'll come on and say something.
It's peppermint.
Oh,
maybe the socks are to honor her at the birthdays, is to give everybody mismatched socks.
Hey, good idea.
As a joke. I feel like she wants to make fun of herself, and I don't think she has a problem with it now at all.
No, I think you're right though. I think she is making light of herself, but she knows, you know.
When I see socks, it's meaning they died at their home in their bed, died with their socks on.
Oh, no kidding.
That's what I see.
I'm so sorry, Carm. I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so close to you though. Scott, repeat what I just said about the socks and died with her socks on, but tell her about the mismatched socks and giving people mismatched socks as a joke.
Oh, Carm, you told me she had ugly feet, so maybe she's wearing socks for you.
Oh my God, that's a hoot.
I didn't remember that. That's so funny.
That is funny. Oh my God, that's a hoot.
I'm not a person who likes feet, so I have a hard time when I don't see. My mother had very ugly feet. If I see my mother's feet, I have to say something. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Okay.
It's a good thing you do readings and not pedicures, because otherwise it'd be a
No,
bad
no,
thing.
I'm not a foot person.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, Vicky.
Vicky, I
appreciate it on the
appreciate you.
show.
Hugs and light, girlfriend.
Hey, thank you both very much.
Take care. Have a good
Appreciate
night. So I think we're coming near the end. I just want to go through the chat one more time and just say hello. Let's see. What does a Reiki person do? That's healing, Ashley. Reiki is healing. Right. Reiki is healing.
Have you ever been trained in Reiki, Scott?
I have just one. I don't do it. I think I just kind of.
Well, I'm a master teacher. I don't teach
Nice.
Reiki, but
Yep.
I am trained to teach Reiki. I'm also a certified healing touch practitioner. And really what it is it's a more formal way of helping people heal via hands-on, the presence of healing. We're really acting as channels for the higher healing to go on. And so when someone, I work with cancer patients, and when they're having, say for instance, they have pancreatic cancer, I will work on balancing their energy. Their energy is really important. So chakras. And so I work on balancing their energetic field, their bioenergetic field by intention. And I can read the energy because I can run my hands through the field. And also bring them to a normalized field of energy. Because if you've had cancer, sickness, sadness, anything, you can get your energy field can close or it can be compromised. So what a good healer will do is they'll read the energy field and then work on opening up all your energetic centers and let the energy flow. You have an energy center just like you have an endocrine system, a blood system, a skeletal system. You have an energy system. And when it's compromised, especially when you're in the hospital, I walked 5 years in hospital setting doing healing touch work. It helps you heal faster, recover faster, takes off side effects of chemo, radiation, surgeries, ...
But it doesn't heal it. It's not going to make pancreatic cancer go away.
No, it doesn't make it go away. But what it does is it helps your journey in the cancer setting. If you're being treated for cancer and it's curable, it will help you it'll help take off the symptoms of chemo. It helps you build your energy up so you can fight it better. I had a man once I worked with who was an oil engineer from Texas. And he did not believe in this stuff. And he laid on my table and he goes, I don't believe in this stuff. He goes, but my wife made me come. Like, so is it okay to work on you? He goes, yes. He was a second time lung cancer patient. So I started to do the work and he told me he didn't believe in it. And I asked permission, can I do it? Yes, I guess you can. By the third time, he was apologizing and said it made his cancer treatment so much easier. He had more energy. He was one of my greatest gifts. He was my teacher.
That's fantastic.
I saw him 15 times, got close to his family, and I was there at his death. They over-radiated him and his oxygen. His lungs couldn't take in oxygen. So unfortunately, he passed. And Jerry, he's a beautiful soul, and I can talk about him because the family has given me permission on that. And his story is amazing. So yes.
So I would love for you to just let people know how they can reach you and sign up for your classes or maybe get a reading or whatever.
Go to carmosullivan.com. It's or you can text me at 719-492-5254. I'm booked out about a month in readings, and usually that's my month to a month and a half out, so people have to wait. I do work in cancer patients when I can, if you're local. What I do is I do it on Zoom or I do it in person. I'm preferring Zoom right now because I'm working with a cancer patient that's going to be very compromised.
Sure.
So I'm trying to stay away from a lot of germs. But my classes will be posted. My next class is Colorado Springs, October 19th and 20th in the Springs. It's a 2-day course. People leave when I watch people's faces when they have those aha moments, it's one of my favorite things. And everybody has that aha moment. Like and they're wondering why they're there. And then when they leave, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this weekend. So just contact me and I'll talk to you. I'm very open to calling people. I'm reachable. And if I don't call you within 24 hours, text me again. I'm getting a little crazy on my scheduling. So that's it. That's me, Carmen.
Beautiful. CarmO'Sullivan.com. And please check her out. Check out her readings, check out her events and lessons is what I want to say, the courses that she offers. I also want to make an announcement too. If you are in the New England area, specifically Massachusetts or Southern New Hampshire, I do have an event with Karen Tatro this Friday evening at the Bull Run Restaurant in Shirley, Massachusetts. We are doing an evening of mediumship, but it's dinner and an evening of mediumship. It starts at 6:00 p.m. and the show is at 7. And then at 9:00, if you are a lucky VIP holder, we are going upstairs at the Bull Run to the haunted ballroom, and we're going to see what's there, the spirits of the Bull Run restaurant. And that's limited to just, I think we have limited it to 16, well, maybe 20 people, 20, 24 people, something like that. But if there may be a few of those still left, if you want to join us, the Bull Run is like 300 years old, goes back to the Civil War. So it should be a great time. If you're in Massachusetts or Southern New Hampshire, would love to have you join us. Please check out Carm's website. Check out my website. All of my events, you can get tickets to everything right there. I'm going to be Massachusetts, Connecticut, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I got places all over the place. So I'd love
I
to
gotta
meet
have
you.
Come to Colorado.
Oh, sign me up. You don't have to tell me twice. I would love to. Just don't wait until winter, because I might not want to be there in January. I want to be there.
Well, I'm thinking like we're going to have to talk and get a date on the calendar.
Let's get a date on the calendar. Yeah.
We're much easier winter than Boston there.
It's so surprising to me. I think of Colorado as just being snowy and cold.
No, we don't. We have very little snow where I live, which is lovely.
It is.
And it comes and goes. Like I know you guys get slammed, and we get we'll get a foot and it'll be gone in about 3 days. And it's back to being sunny. We have 300 days of sunny here.
Oh my God, sign me up. All right.
Today it's rainy.
Carm, I'm going to ask you just to hang on for a second. I'm going to close the show out. I'll talk to you so I can say goodnight. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget, no show next week. We are taking a little time off next week for a class that I'm taking with our mentor, Joe Shiel. But I will be back in 2 weeks with celebrity pet psychic Beth from the UK. So all of you listening from the UK, please join us. She's also a host on Pulse Talk Radio, but she has a TV show in the UK. Get your pets out and come on. She's going to read your pets right here on the air. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Psychic Beth. In the meantime, have a great night, everybody. Be good to each other. Thank you, Carm. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so
and
much.
We'll see you next time around. Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us today for Spirit Talk Live with Scott Allan. Please remember to subscribe to Spirit Talk Live on YouTube and share on all your social media channels.